Hello farmers, a warm welcome to another exciting and informative free training webinar brought to you by Agribusiness Media in partnership with SeedCo and Polachem. My name is Rawlings, your host, and I'm so excited to be with you today as we discuss the business of cabbage production. We have a packed and informative session ahead, so we'll be covering everything from selecting the right cabbage varieties, optimizing your soil, right through nutrient management, as well as essential crop protection strategies. To guide us through these vital topics, we have two esteemed experts with us today. First, we will hear from Clemence Mucharedzei from SeedCo Vegetables. Some of you call him Mudumeni Wemari. Clemence is a seasoned expert who will talk us through the key aspects of variety selection and good management practices. He will also cover soil health, which is essential to cabbage production. And following Clemence, we do have Rudo from Polachem, and Rudo is an expert who will provide crucial insights into maintaining the health of your cabbage crop, shedding light on the effective strategies for preventing and managing common pests and diseases. After the presentations, we are going to have a dedicated question and answer segment where you can interact with the presenters. Without further ado, let's kick off our learning journey for today. And it's my pleasure to hand over to our first speaker, Clemence Mucharedzei from SeedCo Vegetables. And he will be discussing cabbage variety selection, soil and nutrient management, as well as general crop management practices. Clemence, the floor is yours. Please do share your screen with us when you are ready.
Good day, farmers. My name is Clemence Mucharedzei, social marketing agronomist. SeedCo Vegetables based here in Manicaland. Many they know me as Mudumeni Wemari, as we go around farms and advising farmers on how to make money through different crops that we advise them, especially vegetables. Today we shall be talking about cabbage crop, the crop that we shall be discussing much about. Yeah, so this first slide here would want to know and answer the very big question, which is why horticulture? Why should you do horticulture? With horticulture, it comes in with quite a number of reasons why you should do horticulture. To start with, it is a high return per dollar invested. We've got many crops that you can grow in horticulture business, and you'll be getting a minimum of $3 per dollar invested. Like the crop that we shall be discussing here today, which is cabbage, we are looking at $3 per every dollar that would have been invested. So it has a high return per dollar invested. Then you also look onto the second reason, that is a quick return per dollar invested. You would see the vegetables that we encourage farmers to be growing. Normally, they can actually grow some crops 2-3 times per year. So the quick return per dollar invested, it means your crop, many of them, they mature at most at 120 days. That is the turnaround time that you actually spend after investing your money. And it is also a foreign currency earner, where we see many buyers coming from like here in Manicaland. We've got buyers that come from Mozambique, and when they come to buy, it actually means we are getting foreign currency, and some will actually export some of these to other countries. And with vegetables, you see they also support the enterprises for the main activity. Suppose you have a tobacco farmer, and during the months of December, January, February, tobacco farmers will be reaping their tobacco, and they have a challenge to do with mainly cash flows. So it actually comes in handy to try and support the main enterprise activity that will be happening. But it does not necessarily mean it's not a good venture to do because it is supporting. But the issue is to do with the quick return per dollar invested, the high return. You actually come around very quick and get some money, and this is your cash flow. Therefore, supporting the enterprises for the main activity that will be happening at the farm. Then looking on the nutritional value, these days people, they are now more of health conscious, and people are eating more. They are very conscious about what they eat. So with vegetables, I think every plate should now have a vegetable of some sort. If it could actually get 70% of your plate with vegetables, the better. So the more you eat vegetables, the longer you live, and the less you visit your doctors. And some, they actually do it as a hobby. You see, the market gardening can actually be done as a hobby, where you see some farmers meeting on a weekend to showcase whatever they'll to be growing. And it's actually a very good venture. It's also therapeutic going around in a vegetable garden. So it is quite a good venture to do horticulture. It gives you money, it gives you life, it gives you foreign currency. And going on to the climatic conditions, where we are looking into the growing of cabbage. What is it that you need in terms of climate? So cabbage can be grown in a wide range of environmental conditions, where we are saying from SeedCo, we say we can actually grow our cabbages from January right up to December. But remember, it should conform with the climatic conditions, the varieties that will be putting onto the market and advising farmers to grow. But the best time to grow cabbage, it actually do well, especially in winter, where we say it prepares in a relatively cool and humid climate. These temperatures, they do better for cabbage. However, we are not saying you cannot grow your cabbage during summer, but it does better during the cool conditions. And the optimum temperature for cabbages, we are saying it does well between 18 to 25 Celsius degrees. And above that, yes, it can perform. But for you to really unlock the genetic potential of a variety of a cabbage, it really needs to be within that range. And it can also be grown on all types of soils, sand to heavy clay soils. But what you just need to know is how much in terms of fertilizer that you need to come. But for you to know the fertilizers that you need, you now need to know your soil pH, where we say it should be between 6 to 6.5, which is the optimum pH for growing cabbage. And if you have that, you now know how much of the fertilizer that you need. So after knowing the climatic conditions, we also said you can grow it from January to December, meaning to say it can cut across the seasons. So SeedCo, we've got our varieties. But before you come in on to say, why SeedCo varieties? Why should you choose SeedCo varieties? There are what I normally call nombo zemurimi, which a farmer should get. And these, number one, it has a high yield. The varieties that we churn onto the market, they've got high yield, which means you also get high returns from the investment that would have. We are talking of 5 to 7 to 8 kgs per head. And when you go to the market, it also means people, they choose the bigger the better. Then there is a second number, which is the high growth figure, where we are saying it grows a very healthy crop, and it takes off. And when you grow it, you see that the earliest variety that we do, it matures between 60 to 65 days. And the latest one, it actually matures in 90 days, which means a high growth figure. Then the other one, which is the third, it has to do with the disease tolerance and resistance, where we are saying your crop should withstand the adverse conditions, be it weather, where we see many farmers not growing their crops during summer, citing challenges to do with the black rot, blights, and all. But with our varieties, they can actually tolerate such diseases, and some it actually resists such. And high quality products, that's the other thing, where we see hawkers, those who sell their produce onto the market. They need a good high quality produce, where should you go to the market, it should have a good color, the flavor, the nutritional value and taste, which actually brings back customers to come and buy from you because you would have sold a good produce the previous time. So should you come back? Because we consider a good customer is one who comes back after buying the first time, and better adaptation to the soil and the climatic conditions. The varieties that we have here at SeedCo are tested first before you actually release them onto the market. Therefore, they are best suited to the Zimbabwean soil. They are best suited to all regions in Zimbabwe because they were tested through our PD, where we do the soils and climatic conditions, testing them through the regions and all. And lastly but not least, we have got quite a number of varieties, and they come in suiting different markets. So we do for open restaurants and supermarkets, and these markets, they prefer different sizes with respect to your cabbage. You'd see the open market, it needs maybe all, but the bigger the better is what's required on the market. People, they will not stop eating cabbage because it is flooded. But when they come to the market, they're looking for the best, the biggest on the market, and with a very good color. The restaurants, normally they want the biggest because they want to cut and cook. And for the supermarket, yes, they may need the biggest ones. They may need not so big, but they prefer the medium-sized because they'll be packing them in their shelves. So maybe space may be limited, and the market that normally buys cabbage from the supermarket, they need the medium-sized. So looking onto the Brassicas gross margin, here is just but a snippet of what we need. Per hectare, we are looking at a plant population of 33,000 heads that you actually do for your hectare of cabbage. Then we say your pickout percentage, because the hybrid varieties that we do, you are assured of a 90% cutout percentage. Therefore, should you do a 90% of 33,000, we will be left with a net heads per hectare that you actually go or send to the market with, that would be 29,700 heads of cabbage that you are going to sell at the end of the season after your 65 days, 75 days, or 90 days. And the variable cost normally per hectare of growing cabbage, we are looking at an average a variable cost of $3,780, and variable cost production per plant or per head of a cabbage. We are saying to produce a head of cabbage, you need at least 13 cents. That is the amount that you need for you to be able to come up with a head of a cabbage. So if you now have a farm gate price, suppose today, should you go to the market today, cabbage is being sold at around 50, 60 cents. Some are actually selling them for $1, but here today, we are looking at a price of 40 cents per head. And should you be able to sell everything, your gross income at the end of the hectare sales, you get your 11,880. And should you now remove our 3,780, you will be left with your net of $8,100. Therefore, with cabbage, you can easily get away with $1 to 3 ratio, which is for every $1 that you invest, you would have invested, you get your $3. So it's quite a good business to do, where we're saying with cabbage, should you invest $1, you get your $3. So it's a very good investment. But what is needed for you to come up with such a very good ratio of $1 to 3 is to choose the right seed, do the good agronomics, which we are going to be looking into the next slide after this one. So the varieties that we have here at SeedCo, we've got very good varieties, but all of them, they're encompassed in those 6 nombo, which I highlighted before. So here we are just going to be looking at the snippet of the varieties that we have. Number 1, we starting with the earliest cabbage variety that we do have, which is Kiwa. It's a very early maturing. It matures between 60 to 65 days. It's a round cabbage which is a weight which is in excess of 5 kgs per head. It can actually go up to 8 kgs should you do it well. But here we are working with an average. So, and the disease, it actually has a high resistance to quite a number of diseases. And the next cabbage which comes in very handy, and it is actually taking the market by storm, which is Red Sky. Red Sky is a very good cabbage. It's a red cabbage, and it has a very good hold fooding capacity, and it matures in 65 days after planting. This Red Sky, it is a flat round shape, and actually is the biggest cabbage that is on the market, and it is a head size. Should a farmer fail to grow the Red Sky, we're talking of 3 kgs per head, even though I've seen some very good farmers, a good farmer in Manicaland, Sharon, here she's doing more than 3 kgs. At one time, she did 5 kg kind of red cabbage. So as for color, it is a red, and it actually has a high resistance to Xanthomonas and Fusarium. So you can actually grow this cabbage across seasons. Then the next white cabbage after red cabbage, we have got Majesty F1. It's a very good cabbage which is widely adapted, and it has been grown all over the country. It has taken the market by storm. Talking of Mbare, talking of Sakubva Msika, Kudzanai. It's a very good cabbage. It matures in 70 to 75 days in terms of days to maturity. It gives you a flat round shape, and this one, it is very sweet. And what does it mean? It also means it takes longer on the market. It has a very long shelf life, which lasts up to 7 days after cutting it. And the heads, they exceed 5 kgs, even up to 8 kgs it can get. And it has a blue-green color, which is dark blue-green color, actually. This is the darkest cabbage on the market. Should you see the darkest cabbage on the market when you go to buy cabbage, should know that is Majesty F1. And the last but not least, the cabbage that we have at SeedCo is Chaka F1. Chaka is a very good, and it's a late maturing variety. It matures in 90 days after transplanting. It's a round, and it actually ranges between 8. Some can actually get to 12 kgs in terms of size. It's a blue-green, and this one, it can keep on growing even up to 140 days. It does not split. It doesn't have challenge. So these are the varieties that we have here at SeedCo. They are all encompassed in those 5 numbers that I gave you earlier on. They can be grown all year round. So these are the varieties that we are encouraging farmers to buy. You should have your Kiwa, should have your Majesty. So you can actually have your Kiwa, Majesty, and Chaka at the same time. And as you get to the maturity, the one that matures early, which is Kiwa. When it matures, when you'll be harvesting your Kiwa, as you finish your Kiwa, you're coming in to harvest your Majesty. As you finish harvesting your Majesty, your Chaka F1 comes in. So you'll be selling every time. So a farmer is encouraged to be selling something, to be sending something to the market after every 2 weeks, so that you have got your income that keeps coming in at the farm, and it eases the cash flow that we're talking about, easing on the main crop that we have. Then moving on to the next slide, where we say, normally with farmers, you hear farmers saying, I have grown so much, I've grown a hectare of cabbage, but coming on to ask them, how much did you plant? How many plants did you have on your hectare? You tell you I had 19,300 plants. That is a hectare. Wow, that's not a hectare. A hectare, it has to do with the plant population. You remember the previous slides where we are talking about how many plants, where we are saying we start with 33,000, and should you get your 90% cutout percentage, end up with 29,000. So it starts here where we are saying you should have your beds. They should have a width of 1 meter to 1.2 in terms of width. Then you have your 2 rows per bed, and on these 2 rows, line to line, we are talking 50 to 60 centimeters, and your in row from one cabbage to the next, we are looking at 40 to 50 centimeters. That is your in row. So you have your plant population of 33 to 40,000 plants. That's what makes up a hectare. So for you to say have a hectare, you should have 33,000 to 40,000 heads on a 10,000 square meter land. That's what we call a hectare, not to have 19,000 on a 10,000 square meter land. That will not be a hectare. So when you have done the land preparation and everything, make sure you have your spacing right, so that you have the right number of plants, you have got the right number of calculations in terms of when you are now selling, you now know the line, I've got so many plants. Remember, each farm may not have different in terms of length and all, but you may have your standard to say each line it has so many plants. That will give you a snippet to say I can safely get $200 from each line, and you multiply by the number of lines that you have, then you get your money at the end of the day. So moving on to the next slide, where we are saying now you know your spacing, you should now know the fertilizer program that you'll be looking at. On the fertilizer application, we highlighted that you should have a 6.0 to 6.5 in terms of your pH. However, as agronomists, as Madumeni, we have what we call a blanket fertilizer application, a rough rule of thumb that we recommend farmers to use. But we strongly go against this, because each farm has got its different nutrition now requirements that differ from one farm to the next. But as a blanket application that we just recommend to say you can use that should you fail to do your soil analysis. But we strongly recommend please do your soil analysis so that you use the correct fertilizer application rate. You'll see here today I shall be recommending a certain rate, but you may actually be recommended to use maybe half of that rate that I'll be recommending here, because your soil will be rich enough. So on the basal application, we are saying use compound C, and you'll be applying 30 grams per station. And the application of the basal is very important. Listen very carefully, farmers. We say dig a hole like you want to plant maize, as big as that. Then you apply your 30 grams in terms of fertilizer. If you have got manure, you can also add into that same hole, mix the fertilizer and your manure. Then you cover your fertilizer with soil, with a film of soil. Then you come in with your seedling, so that you just sit it now on top of the soil that is non fertilizer. Then you take soil from the sides of the hole, then you plant. So your seedling will grow into the fertilizer and manure, and it will grow very quickly. So avoid decided dressing in terms of basal dressing. It does not really do well. We need the tape root to tap into the fertilizer, but avoid scorching the seed. So you put your basal, you cover with soil, then you just sit on top and use the soil from the sides to cover your seedling. Then you come in with your top dressing, cup number 5, in the first, second, and third week. That is for summer. And in winter, you can actually come in 3rd, 5th, and 6th week after transplanting. The idea there, we really need, but sometimes as a blanket application, you can actually come in with your fertilizers under 30 days. Remember, should you be working with Kiwa, which matures in 65 days, make sure your fertilizer applications should come in as early as possible. You also have got some foliar fertilizers, the Grow Pluses. You can actually, the Unison, you can drench them as your crop will be growing. So that is all in terms of your fertilizer requirements. And for the herbicides, we've got friends here that shall be talking much. So we actually recommend you guys to make sure when you start doing your land preparation, do it well. Make sure you can plow the land and start on a very good note. Your field should be very clean. Use the pre-mentioned herbicides like esmetalaflo. Your field will be very clean. As you can see there on that slide, you're starting your transplanting on a very clean sheet. And mainly on the post-emergent with cabbage, fertilizer chemical companies, they'll recommend you what they can use, but we also recommend a very clean field. That's what we really need you to do. And should you not be able to get the post-emergent, use what we call VNB, one neighbors. Make sure we keep our fields very clean in terms of we don't need to have a field which is full of weeds. And going on to the next slide, where we are talking about the major pests that we have on cabbage. We have got pests like aphids. So you really need to come in with your moti to make sure your cabbage is clean. We have got DBM, diamond black moth, is the veteran that is known to attack mainly cabbage. But you know what, farmers, with DBM, even with aphids and red spider, even the bagrada bug, it also has to do with nutrition. Make sure you feed your cabbage very well. If you have noticed, or maybe you haven't, in a deficient a crop with which lacks nutrition, you would see that it would be attacked mainly by pests. So make sure you have got your nutrition in order. We also have white flies. Make sure you control those using the recommended chemicals. We've got cutworms. With cutworm, make sure we apply our turn rake, our lambda into transplanting to make sure that we have a very good crop stand after transplanting. Make sure you really do, and your land preparation should be done well, as well as semi-loopers, which actually eat the leaves of the cabbage. Make sure you use recommended pesticides to try and control. And please don't apply pesticides when you are already going to the market. And as for fungal diseases, remember, we say it starts with the right seed. What we mean when you say it starts with the right seed, many are not growing cabbage during summer. They cite black rot challenges, fusarium, dumping off, you can name it. But the varieties that we sell at SeedCo, you'd see that we will not have much of these problems. The black leaf, spot leaf, black powder, and downy, black rot, they are not really much of a problem because our varieties, they actually tolerate these challenges. So we recommend you farmers to choose the right variety, and you have no challenges to do with this. You can actually grow your Kiwa, your Majesty, your Red Sky, your Chaka during summer, where we say it is the hardest time to be growing cabbages. So fungal diseases, they're not really much of a challenge. You can actually do them properly, but it starts with the right seed for you to be able to sail through summer. So we move on to the next slide, where we say over and above having cabbage, which is what we're presenting today. At SeedCo, we have quite a number of lines in our basket. Talk of fine beans, broccoli, watermelons, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, onion, eggplant, herbs. We also have rambat. We have got recently Covo Captino, where we are saying every homestead should have a Covo Captino, which does well. It can harvest it for 9 months. So we have got a broad basket. And for you to be able to get these lines in each and every province, on this next slide, we shall be showing the agronomist numbers, but in summary, we are saying we are forced to be reckoned with, and we have got the right genetics for the farmer, where the farmer should make money from growing horticulture, from growing the vegetables. Particularly today, we're talking about cabbage. Kiwa, Majest, Red Sky, Chaka. And those are the numbers for the agronomists that we have here in Zimbabwe. Our head office, you can call Beauty Magia. In Manicaland, you can call Mtumenumari, Clemence, Mucharedzei. In Marsh West and Marsh Central, Lebrinth Sbanda. In Marsh East, we've got Francis Mapindane, Right Msakanda for Midlands and Mashingo. In Blawayo, we've got Tony Moyo. In Harare again, we have our Tariro Mafumba. You can also visit our trials. There's B and Brian. We can assist you to make money, to make every dollar that you invest to multiply and gives you more and get more from every dollar that you definitely invested. So we'd want to thank you, farmers, and let's join again in the next program where we'll be talking about the next crop. Remember, it starts with the right seed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clemence, for such an incredibly comprehensive and practical presentation. You have covered some absolutely essential areas for anyone involved in cabbage production, from getting the right varieties and through daily operations. And your insights on variety selection, soil health are particularly valuable. Thanks again, Clemence. Now, let's transition to a topic that is paramount to the success and sustainability of any horticultural operation, crop health. It is my pleasure to introduce you our next speaker, Rudo from Polachem. And Rudo will be focusing on cabbage crop protection, shedding light on how we can protect our cabbage crop from common pests and diseases. Rudo, welcome, and we are ready for your presentation. Please take it away.
Good morning, farmers. My name, I am Rudo, or they call me Rudo. I am with Polachem Investment, the technical advisor. Yeah, I've been working for Polachem Investment for the past 8 years. Just to tell you a little bit about my background, I'm coming from Ministry of Agriculture, where I was the registrar of pesticides. I moved on to ZFC as research agronomist, and my last stop now is Polachem, where I'm 8 years old here. And I'm a professional. I'm also a farmer. I do a lot of farming. I'm farming avocados, mangoes. I'm also farming potatoes and tomatoes as well. Polachem Investment is a privately owned company. It's been operating for the past 24 years. And we've been focusing more on the large-scale commercial farmers. But I'm glad to say that we're now having our footprints in this small-scale commercial farming sector. We got exclusive partners. In terms of our suppliers, we get our products from UPO South Africa, FMC United States, Sumitomo, Corporate Biologicals, Corteva, Bancela, Rio IPM, Dax Agri, that's Portugal. So we quite a hybrid company, or a hybrid company, agribusiness, as it were. And you can imagine, we believe in original chemistry, and this is why we have spread our tentacles all over the world. So we get the best from each and every country. This is what we represent as Polachem. We also have communal partners, Bayer, Syngenta, BSF, and of course Avima. They've got some amazing products, and we partner them on certain lines that our farmers are very much interested in. In terms of market share, Polachem Investment has got about 85% share in the large-scale commercial sector, 10% tender business. We do a lot of tender business with tobacco companies, paprika companies, and we also about 5% shareholding in the small scale business. But suffice to say that we are growing in this direction. We have invested a lot in terms of getting our products down to small quantities, coming up with very favorable and convenient prices. So we are reaching out to small scale farmers in a big way. Today, my focus is going to be on the current problems that farmers are facing. It's more of a bottom-up approach. Like I said, I'm a farmer as well, and I'm also coming from that background. I understand what is suffering a lot of farmers. What are the problems that farmers are actually facing? And this is the direction that I'm going to be taking from now. We're having problems with weeds, yes, as farmers. Purpling of cabbage leaves, dumping off is another problem. Brassicas standing disorder. I've been receiving calls from many farmers now that they're having problems with Brassicas standing disorder. This is a new phenomenon that I'm sure in Blawayo, if you follow news, there are reports that a lot of cabbage farmers have dumped growing cabbages because of this Brassica standing disorder. I also have diamondback moth, and the other problem that I didn't mention there on my slide is black rot, which is your Xanthomonas campestris. In terms of your pre-planting weed cleanup, it is very important for you to start with a very clean seedbed. How do you go about now? We're coming from summer, and we're advising our farmers to come with the product, which is called Springbok Gold 510 SL. This is a superior glyphosate ion exclusive to Polachem investments, controls existing grasses and your regular broad leaf weeds. You use a rate of 2.2 liters per hectare. These are the pre-planting problem weeds that I also have on my field right there in Rusape and Yanga. We have a lot of yellow nutsedge. We also have a Tangad, your Cynodon. These are very common now coming from the summer. So our Springbok Gold, which is superior glyphosate, it actually kills all these weeds that you're seeing on this slide. Suppose you then plant, then we have problems with couch grass and other related grasses like your Rapoko grass. We have a product which is called Select. This is a systemic post emergent herbicide for the control grasses and, of course, volunteer maize. You use a rate of 0.8 mils to 2 liters per hectare, and it's fairly priced at $16.30 per liter. These are the post-emergent problem weeds. We have the Lucin indica. Yeah, we also have your couch grass and your Rhodiobolia conchinchinensis, which is your shamba grass. Vamwe vanoiti barahanga pachishona ndo very chicheche chiwidi chinobaya chiuswa chinobaya chiya chinooneka muchibage. Definitely then that can be taken, we can actually kill it using our Select. The good thing about Select, probably when you're selecting also herbicide, is you need to be aware and very conscious about the rotational crops, the crops that are going to fall up. Normally I ask farmers before I recommend any pre or post emergent herbicide that what is going to be a follow-up crop. And we are very good at it at Polachem indeed in terms of asking the history. And then we recommend you accordingly. But the good thing about our products, specifically Polachem, is that they don't stay too much in the soil. They don't have a very long residual period. So you're able, in the event of crop failure, you can still come with another crop as you wish. So because actually Select does degrade quickly in the soil. The other problem, like I said, it's bottom-up approach. We get into farmer problem, then we come with solutions. The other problem that as cabbage farmers we are facing is that of purpling of cabbage leaves. What do I mean by that? Kutonora is quite cold, especially today. Temperatures here are hovering around 18 degrees Celsius, and you can imagine Wakabata Ivrenyo definitely to be very cold. So we have low soil temperatures, and that inadvertently affects root growth. My roots are not reduced in terms of their growth, and what then it means that the surface area expansion in my roots is going to be limited, and that will limit uptake of phosphorus. You're aware that phosphorus is very key to root development. So if the phosphorus is limiting, then we're going to have problems in my root development, and that will result in the purpling of leaves. How do we deal with purpling of leaves? We are privileged at Polachem Investment that we have what we call starter fertilizers in the form of plant start. It's a specially formulated fertilizer of liquid fertilizer, which is used to stimulate root development. The key to this particular product is the presence of auxins and cytokinins in that proportion. Please note, in that 5:3 proportion. That is very critical because it's a high auxin cytokinin ratio, which is pro-root development. And I'd want to say that ratio actually promotes expansion and development of fruits. It's available, planted, it's available in very convenient pack sizes, 1s, 5s, and of course 20. You just need a nominal rate of 3 liters per hectare, and 1 liter is costing $6 per liter. We also have another product which is called Trichocyst. This is a must-have product that you need to put in the planting hole. You might be aware that the activity of microorganisms in the soil, when the soil temperature is very low, is constrained. It's kind of hamstrung. So what then happens? The solubilization and of course sequestration of plant nutrition is highly compromised because your micro life is limited in terms of growth and of course proliferation. So what then happens is if you come with this exogenous micro-based product in the form of Trichocyst, it has got Trichoderma hazanium. It will then help in terms of solubilizing and also help in the sequestration of your P, specifically your phosphorus. It will be taken up by the plant roots because it caters of what Trichoderma hazanium, which is in the Trichocyst that we have. So you need just 1 liter per hectare, and that liter is costing about $19, right? And it's available at our warehouse. This is the purpling that I was talking about. You normally find this probably in small cabbages immediately 2 weeks after planting or 3 weeks after planting. You then know that the uptake of phosphorus is quite limited. That's a phosphorus deficiency, and that's how it shows itself probably on a mature crop. And phosphorus is very critical in the energy processes. Talking about metabolism, the transfer of the ATPs and everything, generation of ADP is very, very critical, and it plays a very critical role. So if it is limiting in the plant, then it then shows itself in that manner. But I want to warn farmers to say that it is very important for farmers to anticipate a problem. You already know that we are in the conditions, we are living in the conditions, or conditions are very propitious for development of phosphorus. Therefore, I need to have my plant start in place. I need to have my Trichocyst in place because I'm going to have phosphorus deficiency because of the temperatures, low temperatures, etc. So don't wait until there is a problem. Anticipate a problem. This is how we work it in science. You anticipate a problem, then you start solving the problem before the problem manifests itself. We also have a problem, which is another major problem from bottom up. As farmers, as cabbage farmers, we have a problem, Brassicas standing disorder. I retitled it cabbage standing disorder because I've not found it. I've actually not found it in in your broccoli, cauliflower. It's not there. So I've not come across it anyway. But suffice to say, this problem it has hit part of Matabeleland, in Midlands. It's also here in Mashonaland. So is caused by turnip yellows virus, and is vectored by aphids. Very destructive in nature. It can reduce your cabbage cut rate to about 60%. This is how it shows itself, right? If you look at the first picture there, a lot of people have been confusing it with a phosphorus deficiency, but it's not. It's not that. It's not even any close to that. This is how it appears: papeling of those leaves. Then, if you cut your head, that's how it manifests itself in a mature cabbage. Then you know what you call the Brassicas standing disorder. There isn't anything that you can actually do much when it is the cabbage is at that state. It's a loss, considered as a loss. Yeah, so you need to anticipate that problem before you have the problem by controlling your vectors in the form of aphids. These are the two culprits that transmit the cabbage standing disorder, what they call Brassica standing disorder, BSD. We have the Bradycorinae species, which they call cabbage aphid. It transmits for about 10% according to research of the BSD. We also have the Myzus persicae, your green pitch aphid, your second picture there. That's the major culprit to transmit about 90%. 90% of the BSDs come from this virus, or this vector. So what you need to do is to make sure that you control your aphids. Just keep them below. You keep them way below the economic injury level. So anticipate this problem to come, but I'll show you probably in the next slide how to go about it. How do we control the Brassica standing disorder? What I call, what Rudo calls cabbage standing disorder. We have a special product here at Polachem, which is called Praise, 50 WG, fairly priced at $48 per kg. It's you can actually drench. We are encouraging farmers to drench this product at transplanting. Use 10 grams per 16 liters of water. Then you repeat for the application of the same at 14 days after transplanting. So the good thing about this, just to highlight on the profile of this particular product, it is bidirectional. When you say bidirectional, we are saying it moves up and down the plant system. It gets absorbed by the roots, gets absorbed by the root system, gets in the system through the xylem vessels, then it also gets down my growing parts from the tips to the root through my phloem, though in a limited phloem mobility, but it's good because it moves up the growing tips of the plant. So this one, what then happens is when you spray it, the good thing about it again is when you spray it, it kind of provides a barrier. If that aphid is coming with this proboscis, and it but that leaf cuticle, why? Because this is how it behaves. So provides a seal on the leaf, and the stylet of the aphids won't be able to penetrate the leaf cuticle. And so that's how good this product is. Systemic in nature. It has got also contact properties, right? And it's systemic, one system I need systemic systemic insecticide. But let me tell you one thing. What I do at my farm, my infestations, like I want my aphids, I need a contact first. First, it cleans out everything. I just want to full cover spray my crop with a contact insecticide. Then I'll come with the systemic. So there's so much craziness or hype about my systemic product. But good enough to say our praise that we have in stock, it is both systemic and there's got contact activity at the same time. What are the other follow-up sprays? We are encouraging farmers to also take on board Diomex. Remember, when you come with your praise, we are saying we're coming with the praise at planting, just in the planting hole. Then you do up a follow-up spray at 14 days after the first drench. Then You then come with Diamex. This is a systemic fungicide. It also has contact properties. You need about 10 grams per 16 liters of water. You repeat after 7 days. It's priced $19 per kg, available in very convenient pack sizes. It's only available in 1 kg pack sizes. But what I also want to tell farmers about the rule of thumb as far as spraying is concerned is that you do it back-to-back. Nasi. This is your day one. You are obliged, according to the rules of spraying, to come again after 7 days. We call it a back-to-back spray at Polachem. So this is what you need to follow, back-to-back spray. Then we also have a super normal product, which is called Bionim. This is our flagship product, new in Zimbabwe. You can't find it anywhere else. The good thing about this product is that it's both a repellent, it's an anti-fidget, also prevent the oviposition. And my insects are consequently my eggs on the treated surfaces, right? And but it's quite broad spectrum in nature. It hits your aphids back to back. It also hits my DBM. It also hits my semi-looper caterpillars. This is a massive product in your program. It's a hot cake selling quick. We had stocks arriving, but I'll tell you right now, I want to be honest with you, we have none. We also have demand from international farmers. We've got farmers who are actually farming in Botswana, Namibia, who are also getting products from our Polachem warehouse. We have run out of this product, but I'll tell you, probably in about 2 weeks' time, we'll be having it in our warehouse. It's a very good product that farmers can abuse it the way you want because it's multi-site in terms of its attack on the target pest. It doesn't go on one side, just like your bells or your coragen. It doesn't go on one side. It's multi-site, right? So the ability of the insect to develop resistance is quite reduced. It's very compromised. So we are saying farmers, this you can actually come probably on a weekly basis if you can, because it doesn't have that risk of maybe developing of the target pest developing resistance. It's a very good product. You can actually use it at 100 ml per 16 liters of water, fairly priced $21 per liter. Suffice to say that it also hits your tuta, your eggs. They actually get murdered by this product. The good thing again about this product is it has got a 0 pHI. Please notice it's got a 0 pHI. Right? Rarely do you see products with 0 pHI. This is an extract from muti, like the neem tree, right? It's an extract from this muti. And what then happens is that when you spray it, you're good to pick probably after 4 hours, right? You come and pick your product and eat. And many farmers, we are actually missing on that. I'm sure my previous, my colleague from SeedCo actually highlighted on the issue of pHI. What is happening in Zimbabwe is that we are actually feeding our clients with poison. Why? Because we are not observing the pre-harvest intervals. These are very, very critical because what is happening is now I'm dealing with a lot of export farmers who are actually exporting avocados, blueberries. They're actually exporting as well peas, quite a lot of it, UK, United States, and of course East. But we follow the farmers in what they call global gate. They follow the prescriptions from Europe to say it should be having these the minimum residue units. They call them MRIs. Yes, very, very important. They're actually specific. They're actually very, very, very tight on that. If your product is found with a bit of that residue, maybe of ivermectin residue, then it's condemned. So what are we saying for Zimbabwe? I mean, we are exposing our own customers to a deluge of our pesticides by not observing the pHIs. If a product is saying 0, yes, 0, but many of our products really probably in the market, the generic market, well, they are 14 days, 7 days, or even 21 days. Some of them, if you look at the labels, they don't have the pHIs. Please let us not kill the goose that's laying the golden egg. Our goose in this case is our clients, the people who are actually listening to us, the people who are actually buying, who we call market, who are actually buying our produce from us. We are actually killing them. I want to tell you what happened to me. There's a farmer who actually called me someday who's farming in Beatrice there. He's got many greenhouses. He's farming tomatoes. You know what he said? He's actually called me and said, Rudo, I've sprayed oxamil. Matumata angu akuiva but ndabatwa issue here white fly. So I didn't know how else to do with it. I've got in stock, I just have oxamil. So I just went and sprayed it on my tomatoes. And said, no, now my biggest problem is, it's not, I didn't call you to tell you that I use oxamil, but I'm telling you, I don't know now. I've got some people here who want to buy my produce. They're coming from Bari. They want to buy my produce. What should I do? I say, my brother, please do not take that produce to them. Do not sell it. Because if you look at the label, if you look at label, if I look at my label here, my oxamil has got 21 days withdrawal period. So you can imagine that guy had sprayed that day and these macronias had come to pick the product. And I said, Rudo, but I can't miss it. I've actually harvested about 4 tons of the crop. I say, man, I'm sorry. Just consider that as a loss. I know how difficult it is, but for me, you cannot do that. You're actually harming the market. And believe me, he hung up. And the next day we met, the other time we met, he said, finally the guys got the produce. I mean, I had no choice. I mean, I couldn't just throw it away. Then you can imagine how much of that copper or how much of that poison that we're actually giving to our farmers. And this is the reason why I don't say there is a relationship. I'm just thinking that this is the reason why we're having a lot of cancer issues, a lot of diseases coming out of. We're also part of that. So please, now we've been taught, you've been educated that it's very important for you to observe all those pre-harvest intervals each time you do your spraying. Right. Next slide. There, the other problem that farmers are facing is diamondback moth. We are anticipating this problem. Like just now, there's a farmer who actually sent a video to me. Yeah. Normally we have a deluge of diamondback moth in summer, but believe me, we're having some regions where diamondback moth is actually hitting cabbages now. I've heard a communique from the farmer showing his cabbage being hit by DBM. I'm glad to say that at Polachem we've got super products that deals with DBM completely. We've heard farmers, both color, black and white, being hit because it doesn't know color, it doesn't know nothing. This DBM, it hits hard. I've got my farmer just close by Stepperford. He was hit, several times by this DBM. So he ended up, taking a rest from growing cabbages. This has been a shupa. My farmers mazhinji last season, especially last season in summer, yakanetsa DBM zvekudaro. And the reason why it was a shupa is because of nyaya resistance. So what we have done as farmers, we've inadvertently inadvertently sprayed to such an extent that we've caused selection aitika in the DBM population, such that we're now having this very stubborn species, a strain of DBM, resistant mshonga. So that's a very unfortunate thing, development in Zimbabwean farming. We have coragen. This is coragen, please. It's I know a lot of farmers say, what is the active ingredient? Here you can go and the active ingredient of coragen is chlorantraniliprole. You can go. There are now generic chlorantraniliproles in the market. But I want to tell you the same. This thing. I want you to note it. They are not the same. These chlorantraniliproles are not the same. This is our original. This is an original chlorantraniliprole, original, and it has got unique properties. I would say unique properties, because our trade, our secret lies in the innate material, not in the active ingredient. What kills is the innate material. That one is the trade secret. Is the one that potentiates the active ingredient to work. So we've actually kind of concealed it. We don't want anyone to know what is in that, and we are not forced by law to declare our innate material. So this is where the difference lies. This is why you see at times our coragen is costing $37 per 200 mils of meals. And if you go research by name, no, I need a chlorantraniliprole, you go downtown there, you're going to get it probably $30 per 500 meals. It's pretty much cheap, but the efficiencies or the efficacies are very different. Right? This is a very unique insecticide. It goes up the plant. It gets taken up by the plant, moves in the xylem vessels. That's the good. This is the reason why you drench it. You can only drench when a chemical insecticide is taken up by the plant, by the roots, right? And what is happening is when you drench it, it's 10 mils per 16 liters of water. You are sure that within about 2-3 days, the product will already be in the plant. So you do that, then you come again, you repeat foliar application after 14 days. And we have it in very convenient pack sizes, $37 per 200 mils the bottle. We also have a product which is called Flip. This is a new baby in our midst, $35 per liter. Is good for DBM. It also hits if you're having a termites problem. This is you have got 3 problem probably in your onion. You can heat it using Flip. You can use we're advising farmers to use 12 mils per 16 liters of water. Repeat after 7 days after the initial plant, the initial application of Flip. It is also very important for you to know that Flip is not systemic, it is contact. Coragen is both systemic and contact, right? We also, in our midst, we have Emma. This is your emamectin benzoate, but please note, it's not the same Emma. It's just Emma. Ours is emamectin benzoate, yes, but it's not the same with the generic Emmas. This is a superior emamectin benzoate. We're pricing it $19 per kg. You apply 15 grams per 16 liters of water. You repeat after 7 days. I want to just a little bit on the profile. Its redistribution after application. This is both contact, but it is translaminar, which means if you spray it on top of the leaf, it also moves in a very limited way to the bottom of the leaf. So your aphids will be killed. Not really aphids, because this is not for aphids. Your DBM will be killed as well. Because of that, we call it local systemicity. We also have a product in our midst which is called Judge Lufenuron, unique in nature, priced at $18. 40 per liter, fully applied at 40 mils per 16 liters of water. The good thing about this is transovarial. When I say transovarial, it affects the eggs. And what happens is now, the poison from one edge or one stage of development is passed on to the other stage of development. That's what we call transovarial. That's how it behaves. It also affects the stability of the DBM eggs. So you need something like that in your spraying program. This is a must here at Polachem. I've been advising our sales reps to say, guys, you need to have an oversight in every spraying program. So Judge is your go-to product. It actually affects the stability of the eggs, and we call it an insect growth regulator. So it's a must to have an insect growth regulator in every spraying program. Be it you're talking about tutor, DBM, BSD, it's always important to involve an insect growth regulator. Dumping off is another problem that we are currently facing. It's caused by a complex of soil-borne pathogens. You talk about there's rhizoctonia, there is pythium, there is fusarium. it's a complex of those soil-borne pathogens. So what then happens? The seeds normally collapse and die, often at or below the seed, the soil line. That's where you see that you know that you're dumping off. Normally, it's at Polachem, we are advising farmers to seed treat using Vegatop, 42% WS at 2 grams per kg of seed. We have approached many necessary companies to say, please come on board and buy this product, and they're buying it en masse. We are also advising as a cultural practice, advising our farmers to stop overwatering and of course allow the soil to dry a bit. Because what overwatering actually causes or promotes a conducive environment for dumping off to manifest. That's how it shows on your little seeds, little innocent seeds. Just from up my roots up, this is how it shows. And I believe many of you have witnessed this in as you're farming your cabbage or even your tomatoes. It's a rife problem, a very common problem, especially during the winter period or rainy season. That's the problem that we have. How do we go about dumping off? We have a product which is called Cabbage. This is a product I spoke about it in my maybe first slides. It's a micro-based product which contains Trichoderma hyzenium. It has got adequate coliform units to contain a dumping off. You drench it at 8 ml per 60 liters of water. You just drench it. Maybe use your cup number 30. You drench it per planting hole. Then you are assured that the crop is protected from this dumping off phenomena. The good thing also about trichocid that I forgot to talk about is about it's biocontrol. It actually competes with, because what it does, it goes and colonizes the root surfaces and outcompetes the bad guys. So it then protects your roots from the bad guys, that actually causes your dumping off. So I'm advising farmers to have in your storehouse trichocid. It's a hot cake at Polachem, moving so fast because farmers are beginning to see its benefits. It's an amazing product that you can have, both to control your dumping off and also to do your solubilization of phosphorus and of course sequestration of plant nutrition. What I do as Rudo, I'm an agronomist, and I also speak on behalf of competition. I don't want farmers to confine farmers to Polachem only. What I do is to say, guys, if there is another product that works in a very good way, definitely I have every reason to, if I've got experience with that product, then I've got every reason to recommend it. I'm also recommending you guys on dumping off, specifically on dumping off, to take on board a product which is called Crop Shield. Even if you find it, it will be Propalmocab. That others have said it is Propalmocab or Crop Shield. It's a very amazing crop product. It has actually helped a lot of farmers in terms of containing this dumping off. You use about 70 mils per 16 liters of water. Please note, if you use this in combination, you are good to help yourself out of dumping off problems. We also have at Polachem Evitotip, though it's a bit highly priced. It's another product that you can actually use to contain dumping off. Polachem has moved. We now domiciled in Pomona Business Park at number 4571. We just opposite Steel Warehouse, and If you travel along Harare Drive going towards Borodo Road, just after you travel about 50 meters from the robot, Aripa Pano Pana Alps now, way Alps in the red of meat. There are two warehouses there, electrocells warehouses. You just go in between my two warehouses, electrocells. Then you turn your immediate right. You see the bold logo there written Polachem Investment. This is where we're at now. A bit spacious. It's a bit spacious. Very nice place indeed. You can come anytime. That's where you find us. Come anytime, and we'll be happy to receive you. We've actually closed our Lighton branch. We're no more there. And for contact us on 0774 233 212. My WhatsApp is 073 6257 222. May the Lord bless you with the best harvest this season. Bye.
Thank you so much, Rudo, for that vital information on cabbage protection. We really appreciate. And you have shared with us your practical tips that are invaluable for protecting our valuable cabbage crops as well as investment. Thanks again for sharing your expertise. All right, everyone, now that we have heard from both our fantastic speakers, Clemence and Rudo, they have covered a wide range of topics essential for successful cabbage production. Now it's time for your questions, and we have received a number of questions in the question and answer chat box already, and we will go through the questions one by one, and the presenters have promised me that they will try our best to respond to all the questions, time permitting. Thanks so much, Clemence and Rudo, for standing by for the question and answer segment. So the first question that I have here is for Clemence. It says, on ammonium nitrate application, does it mean in summer you don't apply fertilizer after week 3, and in winter there's no ammonium nitrate application before week 3?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
We do, but after week 3 and week 5, yes, we do apply, but normally depends with the variety. So that is a basic recommendation that we do, but there's another recommendation that we can also do where we are saying your fertilizer, especially the top dressings, all of them, they should come under 4 weeks. Remember, suppose you are working with a very early maturing variety, like Kiwa or Fabiola, it matures in 65 days. So you'd want it to use a greater part of its nitrogen under 30 days, so that the other 30 days left, it will be just for growth and maintenance. So in winter, delaying application, it is also to do with possibly delay in terms of growth. So in summer, you really have to come early because the growth rate will be higher. But however, our conditions, they are not really much different from winter or summer. We really don't have that much in terms of a difference. So coming in with your top dressings under 30 days is much better for you to have a good crop.
That's really helpful, Clemence. Thanks. And staying with you, we have a very practical question on land preparation here. It says, on land preparation, after mixing fertilizer, that is CAP 30 and manure, how much thickness of soil to add on before putting on top of the cabbage seedling?
We can say 3 centimeters is enough. So you really have to share your gomba. Your hole must be deep. Put your fertilizer, put your manure, mix them, then cover completely the mixture of fertilizer and manure. Cover it completely. Then when you now come in to place your seedling, don't dig into that mixture. You just sit your seedling on top of the soil, which we say maybe a thickness of 2-3 centimeters is enough. Then you cover your seedling. That way there won't be any contact in terms of your fertilizer in the seedling.
That's very helpful to our farmers as they prepare their land. Thanks, Clemence. Now let's bring Rudo for this next one, which relates to crop protection. It says, would you have a spray program for cabbage?
Yes. To answer this question, yes, we have a spray program for cabbage, but I'll say it's a generic one because what I believe in is your spray program should be guided by your scouting report. My big ask, to our farmers to say, you need to scout your land first, scout your crop first. Probably have a weekly scout schedule. Probably you can select Monday, Tuesday, whatever day is a scouting day. Then your scouting will inform your spray program. If you want a generic one, I'm free to give you, but I'm really advocating for farmers to do the spraying because we're also trying to make the farmer save money. You don't spray anyhow. You just have to base your spraying on scouting.
Thank you, Rudo. And another one for you. A farmer observes a common issue here. They say, sorry, I joined late, but my cabbages are turning purple. Any solution for this from Polachem?
Right. Thank you very much. What is happening? I spoke about it. When I said it's slow growth, peppling cabbages. This is a problem that you should anticipate now. Why? Is because of the low uptake of phosphorus. Phosphorus is very sensitive to soil temperature. When the temperatures are low, then you're going to have some phosphorus uptake issues. So what you need to do, how we go around it at Polachem, we actually advise farmers then to use plant stirred. That's your first intervention. Then, because it has got cytokinins and auxins, which promote root development. And in the plant stirred as well, it has got the phosphorus in a soluble state. We have also said, I've also made mention this product, which is called Trichocyst. It's an amazing product that you can actually use as well for solubilization of phosphorus, so that you can make it available for plant uptake. So we've got two products, plant stirred and Trichocyst. That will change. That's a game changer as far as changing the peppling is concerned. And the reason why, maybe further to that, we don't want that peppling to be there forever. Why? Because it then affects your photosynthesis process. You're going to have a small cabbage there if you don't address that. So you need to come in quickly with plant stirred and Trichocyst.
Very helpful diagnosis and recommendations there, Rudo, for that purple leaf issue. So back to Clemence on this one, on varieties. It says, for maize, we have different varieties by region. Does this also apply to cabbage?
This does not apply. We stick to, say, Kiwa 65 days, Majesty 75 days, Chaka 89 days. However, there are climatic conditions that may actually change, but slightly, where we say in winter, you may see that your cabbage may prolong in terms of days to maturity. Talking of the cure, it actually can extend to 70 days in some cases, where you see in places like high up there in Yanga, but in lower areas like in Bechnaf, it can actually mature in 60 days or 58 days. So that's how vegetables are. It's different now with maize.
All right. Thank you, Clemence. And Clemence, our Motumeni Weman, there's another question here. It says, please, can you avail more details on the fertilization program? Out of interest is the starting point after transplanting and the intervals in between, as well as the cutoff point. I think on this one, we recorded the presentation, and we maybe refer this farmer to the recording that we are going to upload on our YouTube, since it will require more time to respond to. What do you think, Clemence?
Yeah, sure. We apply 30 grains at transplanting. Then you come in with your 5 grains under 30 days, where we can say at day 14, day 21, and day 28. On each day, applying 5 grains. I think that is enough for the top dressing and parcel.
Thank you for that breakdown. Then a quick but important question for you, Clemence, again. It says it's about establishment. When is the right time to transplant cabbages?
First things first, you really have to do a good seedling for you to be able to have it withstand field conditions. So suppose you are transplanting 2 hectares or 5 hectares, you cannot necessarily say I'm going to transplant early in the morning only. But for those with small gardens and all, you can actually do it very early in the morning or later on in the day. But should you have a big acreage, make sure you have got very good, well-hardened seedlings that you can transplant any time of the day, as long as you have got a vibrant root system that we can stand field conditions.
One side clear. Thanks, Clemence. The next one touches on stunted growth. It says here in Bulawayo, a lot of farmers have been facing the challenge of cabbages that are not growing. Any solution for this? I think they meant stunted growth. I don't know, Rudo, if you can take that one.
Yes. Thank you very much for that question or observation, as it were. I ascribe the standard growth to BSD. That's a BSD problem. I would say I've got two possibilities. There's BSD and also probably the issue of phosphorus as well. It caused standing because if there is no phosphorus, yes, you might have applied your compound, probably cap number 30 or cap number 22 per plant. But now how much of that compound or how much of that phosphorus is then available for the plant uptake? That's another issue. So there are two things at play here, the phosphorus issue and also the BSD issue. I think I've made mention of how to go about the issue of BSD. Just find out whether maybe initial primary screening is, do you have any aphids? Are there any aphids there? They might not be there. Well, I would say, did you have any aphids? Maybe that could be a virus in the making. So just check on the aphid population, and if you are quite sure, or you know that you didn't have any aphid infestation, then I'm sure that could be pretty much a fertilizer or a nutrition issue. You need to come with a plant start just to develop the root system.
Does the triangle code or color on pesticides or herbicides refer to effectiveness? For example, we say a purple triangle, is it more effective than a green one?
Yeah, thank you very much. Very interesting indeed. But fortunately, I'm also coming from the regulatory side, so I'll be able to answer that question smiling. You know what is happening now. We do classify pesticides or even pesticide pick colors due to what we call the oral LD50, oral toxicity. What then happens is during the experimentation or development of the product, the product is actually exposed to rats. So if the amount of product to kill the rat maybe is more than 200 parts per million, then that is classified. It picks a color probably red. If it is below that, it picks a color of green. So if it is purple, then it's about 500 parts per million. So it's extremely dangerous to human beings. So it's more of information that is speaking to the human beings, to the human beings risk. If you have a purple label, it's more riskier. So you need to handle it with care. A green triangle insecticide, it's good, it's friendly. You just have to apply caution, that's all. But it doesn't really relate to, it's not connected or linked to any toxicity as far as the effectiveness as far as control of insecticide control is concerned. So it's pretty much to do with poisoning, that's all.
All right. Thanks, Rudo, for taking that one. Then Clemence, back to you for a question on establishment methods. It says, what would you advise in terms of seedlings or in situ? What are the advantages and disadvantages for someone who is starting?
In situ, it has so many disadvantages. Rudo was highlighting issues to do with damping off. And remember, when you're dealing with hybrids, especially the seeds, they come in with counted seeds. So normally you would see that from a pack of 2,500, it's very easy for you to lose 50% of it, especially to diseases which are soil-borne. So we recommend, especially for beginners, for starters, to use float trays where we used tested media and which is free from diseases. So it's very easy to do it using float trays, and that's what we recommend mainly, and not the conventional way.
All right, thank you. Then, Rudo, this is a very practical challenge for farmers. It says cabbage leaves seem to have some wax on them. So when we apply chemicals, they don't stick, sort of. Does this not affect efficiency? If so, what is the remedy? Should I keep on applying, or what's the solution?
Okay, right. Unfortunately, during my presentation, I didn't talk about the use of, or what I call wetter or surfactants or adjuvants. That is very critical, that you need to use this. The reason why we use adjuvants is because you want to improve the efficacy of the product. So it's mandatory for farmers to use the stickers in order to increase efficiency, and also in order to also improve the stickability of the product onto the plant. I want to give you an example of one of my products, which is called Stewart. It's a very potent product. But what then happens now, if you spray it alone, you get efficacy levels of up to 85% tutor control. But then when you add a wetter, I'm talking about the real wetter, not a snake oil wetter, but a real wetter, you get to about 95% and above in terms of its effectiveness in controlling tutor. So if you then add the wetter there, especially the silicone-based wetter, it's quite a bit expensive, but it has got massive benefits. If you then add that silicone-based wetter, it will then increase the spreading or the leaf area coverage and efficacy against the target pest. So that's what you need to do. You need to have, but however, we have some products that do not require wetter. You just need to read labels. And I'm advising farmers here presently to please read labels. Interface with your label. Your label should be your friend. It's your legit document that you have. If you have any qualms or skepticism or whatever doubts or misgiving about the product, or if then something then happens, then you've got recourse. You can actually go and probably in the courts of law and say, guys, this is what I got from this company, and I got blah 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 blah. You can then talk tell your story. But like I said, you need to befriend the label. There are some products where you're not required to use wetter, but I'm sure these are exclusive to Polachem. We've got product which is called copper soap. It's an equivalent of copper oxy. It's just that it has got a low copper load because we're trying to discourage use of copper, high copper level probably in the environment, because we don't want to destroy environment. That copper soap, you cannot use a wetter. The wetter is already inbuilt. So you read your label. Where the wetter is required to be used, please do that. But suffice to say, there are different wetters that we have in the market. I would advise you to go for silicone-based wetter. Thank you.
Put our advice based on improving spray efficacy. Thank you for the solutions. Then Clemence, this farmer says, I'm considering doing Fabiola about 5 hectares. How much seed would I need per hectare?
Per hectare, we are looking at 30 to 33,000 plants that you need. That's what you need, which is about 14 packs per hectare. So you now need to multiply 14 times 5. That is what you need for your total hectare of 5 hectares. And each pack costs $14. $14 if it is Kiwa, and if it's Fabiola, it's $16 per 2,500. Fabiola and Kiwa, they mature in 65 days both, but the premier there is Kiwa, which is an improvement of Fabiola.
Thanks. And whilst you are still there, we have a very low concern here, Clemence. It says, I Mujumenu Mari Tanzania fake seedlings. Amunao Erema nurseries Amunao. If so, could you share at least in agribusiness? Okay, so they are facing a challenge of fake seedlings from some nurseries. And they're asking if you do have any recommendations or nurseries that you work with. If so, perhaps you could share a list with us, then we can post in the WhatsApp community that we have.
It's okay. I shall send you a write-up, but of it, I can tell you we have got Fresh Picks, which is in Koromonzi. They can supply countrywide. We have got Farmers Pride in Manicaland. We've got Manica seedlings in Manicaland. We also have Hobaks here in Harare. We also have here at SeedCo, we have got a nursery. We also do seedlings in quite a number of nurseries that we can recommend. So I'll send you a list of those nurseries that we work with.
Thanks, Clemence, for checking that one. Then the following goes to Rudo. It says, how good are foliar fertilizers, and do they replace synthetic fertilizers, or we have to combine them?
Very, very important question indeed, thought-provoking. My line of thinking is that, in my experience as well, is that you cannot replace foliar fertilizers with synthetic fertilizers, right? You need to go with conventional. Right. I've been privileged to go through soil analysis, interpretation of soil reports. Hello? Hello? Yeah. I've been privileged enough to do some soil interpretation, soil analysis, for many of my farmers. And what I've discovered is that I've been hearing questions to say, okay, right, can I replace foliar ferts with? There's nothing like that. If you look at the requirement of the plant, right? Say you're working on your basal fertilizer, your compound C or blend. We're talking about we look at P, the P requirement problem of cabbage. You need about 300 kgs per hectare, and you then imagine how are you going to meet that 300 kgs when you're using a foliar? How many spreads you need to go with, and how much of that fertilizer is going to go get into the leaf system? It's so limited, so you cannot do that. So what you need to do is you're coming in with these NPKs, which are the macronutrients initially as basal. Then what then happens? There are what we call subclinical symptoms, right? We got zinc, we got copper, we got ions. We also have boron. These they come in the subclinical form. And what you need to note is that when then these micronutrients then show themselves up, then you know that you've got a big knock on your yield. So what you're then doing, you are anticipating a problem that at some point, because these compounds do not have these trace elements. So what you need to do is you need to come in the foliar feeding, right, to then counter a deficiency of this micronutrition. And you also need foliar fertilizer where you have a manifestation of a micronutrition, right? Then you come with it, it actually correct it quickly. But please note that the effectiveness of foliar fertilizers depends on the weather. When it is hot, you know what? We know what happens with the plant physiology. They what you call stomatas. There's what you call hydathodes. They close because they're regulating the amount of water coming out of the plant. So when you then have your foliar, then it won't be able to be useful to the plant. So you need to come with the foliar here and there, not really a problem in mass, no, because there's issue of phyto issues, there's risk of phyto. So you need to come with foliar sprays probably at the recommended rate by the agronomist. At intervals, probably I would say in a cycle of a crop, probably about 3 times. So it's not the absolute. You still need your conventional fertilizers.
Right. Thanks, Rudo, for taking that one. Then, Clemence, this is just a follow-up question. They're saying, do you sell seedlings at Mount Hardin?
Yes, sure. We do sell, but as the pre-booking, should you need any seedlings from Mount Hardin, you need to make a booking so that they can actually do with respect to your requirements.
All right, thanks. And for our final question today, Clemence, it says, cabbage is affected by frost, and if so, what's the best remedy?
It's a challenge, but what we can, they will be affected should the temperatures drop to -1. So what we normally recommend is for you to read the weather and come in very early in the morning, do your irrigation, especially the overhead, which we need. And that's what we can actually do to try and prevent frost. And also, try and use good nutrition, and that really helps. However, some nutrition, we cannot say it really controls or prevents frost, but it helps in raising the sugars of the plant such that it can actually take longer before it freezes.
Okay, thank you, Clemence. We are just about out of time for questions today, and thank you all for submitting such engaging and relevant questions. And a huge thank you to Clemence and Rudo for your excellent answers and insights. We really appreciate. This webinar has provided a fantastic overview of the key elements needed for successful cabbage production. That is from variety selection to comprehensive crop protection and harvesting. We do hope that you farmers found this information practical, actionable, and valuable for your farming operations. On behalf of Agribusiness Media, I want to sincerely thank our presenters, Clemence from SeedCo Vegetables and Rudo Chinoi from Polachem, for sharing their valuable time and expertise with us. Thank you both. We also extend our deepest thanks to our generous sponsors, SeedCo Vegetables as well as Polachem, for making this event a success. Thank you once again. For those of you who have further questions that we could not get today, if you would like more information from Agribusiness Media or our presenters, please feel free to reach out. You can contact us via phone at 0242 790 326 or 0774 121 076. You can also send us an email at info@agribusiness.co.zw. So maybe before we close, we would like to invite our presenters for parting shots. We'll start off with Rudo Chinoi from Polachem. Rudo, any parting shots?
I would want to appreciate and thank farmers for this opportunity that they are always our they are prime to us. They are queens, and we really appreciate the support they're giving to Polachem as far as sales and the support is concerned. I like they ask questions, and I'm very keen to help farmers anytime and anywhere. I also want probably take this opportunity to touch a bit on the frost issue. That farmers, there are 2 products that we have at Polachem that can help. You can actually inbox me, then we can actually chat about it later. We can talk more about the frosty issues. I've got a document that's prepared on the frosty issue. I would say part of my parting shot is please let's work as a team together. Everyone achieves more. Let's not hesitate to ask. Let's also borrow from what the other guys are doing, the other white people are doing. They share information, and let's do that. I'm also free to give you anything that you want, brothers and sisters. And may God bless you and richly bless you in your family endeavors. Bye.
Wonderful. Thanks, Rudo. And Clemence, any parting shots for our farmers?
I would like to thank farmers for the great support that we receive. We see it by seed sales that we do. We encourage farmers not to just ask for PDFs in the groups. Please do engage with your various agronomists, because with the PDFs, yes, we just give people will give you generic information. But for information that relates to your farm, please do contact your local agronomist. From SeedCo, we've got agronomists across the country. And remember, it starts with the right seed. Consider buying executive genetics for you to prosper in farming. And God bless you all. And thank you. Meet you in the next programs.
Thank you, Clemence. And to our farmers, thank you once again for joining us today and for your active participation. We wish you the very best in your farming endeavors. From Agribusiness Media, this is Rolling signing off. Have a productive day and a good weekend.